This is why many elderly people will not live past 80. If you are old, you need to see this now. There's something few people ever tell you. It's not age that makes us weak. It's when we quietly begin to withdraw from our own body. Do you remember the last time you touched yourself, not to wash or to check for illness, but to feel that you are still alive? When we stop listening to the body, life itself begins to fade, even if the heart is still beating. Today, I'd like to open a door with you, a door that may have been closed for far too long. Not a conversation about sex, but about something even deeper, the survival of sensation, of connection, of truly being in your skin again, 1 millimeter at a time. If you're over 60, or if you love someone who is, I invite you to stay with this video until the end. Because sometimes, one small change today can bring years of a fuller, more meaningful life tomorrow. Aging isn't as frightening as forgetting how to feel yourself. We grow up believing that growing old means letting go of our health, routines, and even our desire to stay connected to our body. But the truth? Age doesn't have the power to decide whether you are strong or weak. Only you do. I've met people in their 80s who still had a sparkle in their eyes, a spring in their step, living as if they still carried the boldness of their 50s. And I've met others, not yet 65, who had already chosen to sit still, to stop moving, to turn away from emotion, and little by little, fade from life, even while still alive. The difference isn't the number of candles on a cake. The difference is in how closely they stayed connected to themselves. You may not run as fast. You may not lift as much. But you can still feel. You can still reach out. You can still reawaken the parts of you that have gone quiet. And it's that quiet connection, that gentle awareness, that keeps your heart beating stronger, your mind clearer, your immune system awake, and your spirit growing, no matter your age. Touch isn't a luxury. It's your body's survival instinct. When you run your hand across your skin, when you gently stroke your arm, or simply hold yourself in a quiet moment, it may seem simple, but something extraordinary is happening. Hundreds of thousands of nerve endings light up. Your body is saying, I'm still here. I'm still being cared for. Our nervous system, especially the sensory nerves, never retires. They only grow quiet when we stop waking them, with gentle, intentional touch. Did you know that even small gestures, like placing your hand on your lower belly, gently massaging your palms, or simply feeling your breath move across your chest, can activate physical responses similar to light exercise? Touch doesn't just bring comfort, it improves circulation. It triggers your brain to release oxytocin and endorphins, the very hormones that help you sleep deeper, ease stress, and heal faster. It's like a quiet message your body sends to itself. I'm still here. I still need to be loved. When the body is forgotten, the spirit fades with it. I once asked a 68-year-old man, when did you start feeling like you weren't yourself anymore? He paused, looked into the distance, and said, I think it was the moment I stopped caring about this body. That wasn't an unusual story. It's something happening every day, as people who were once strong, joyful, and full of life begin to live in their bodies, like they're staying in a house that's been left behind. Psychologists call it the dimming of the sense of aliveness, a stage where we stop exploring ourselves, stop noticing the quiet joy of a gentle touch, a good stretch, or a deep breath. We continue to exist, but we're no longer fully living. You see, life isn't measured just by a heartbeat. It's measured by feeling. As long as you still feel like yourself, you're still alive. But when that connection to your body disappears, your spirit begins to fade too. So if there was a way to reignite that feeling, would you be willing to take the first step? The inner streams that keep your body and spirit young. Your body has hidden inner streams, not streams of blood, but streams of hormones. And every time you touch yourself with intention, every time you care for yourself gently and mindfully, you awaken those streams and invite them to flow again. First is oxytocin, the hormone of connection and calm. It soothes anxiety, lowers your heart rate, helps you sleep, and softens the ache of loneliness. Then come endorphins, your body's natural painkillers. They ease chronic aches in your joints, back, and head without medication. When you allow yourself even a small moment of relaxation, dopamine begins to rise, bringing satisfaction, motivation, and protecting you against depression in later years. And don't forget testosterone, not just for intimacy, but for strong bones, resilient muscles, and faster recovery from illness. All of this, every one of these quiet miracles, can begin with one simple act of conscious touch. One moment where you choose to reconnect with yourself, even just 10 minutes a day. I thought my time had passed. And then he found life again, inside his own body. I want to tell you about Mr. Dung, 75 years old, a former math teacher now living alone after the loss of his wife. The first time I met him, he said something that stopped me in my tracks. I'm still breathing, but it doesn't feel like I'm here. It wasn't because he was ill. It was because he had stopped caring for himself. He no longer smoothed back his silver hair, stopped doing even light exercise, and most of all, he couldn't bring himself to touch his own body. So we began with the smallest things. Gently holding his own hands each morning, he massaged his shoulders before bed, and now and then, placing a hand over his heart as a quiet reminder, I'm still alive. 3 months later, he smiled, eyes bright like a schoolboy's. He said, I feel like a tree that's been dry for years, finally getting water again. I didn't need anyone else. I just needed to come home to myself. That wasn't a miracle. That was what happened when someone chooses to reconnect with a part of themselves they once thought was long forgotten. When you stop feeling, you age faster without even knowing it. I understand. There are reasons you may hesitate to touch your own body, not because you don't want to, but because you were taught that decent people don't do that, especially as they grow older. Some of us were raised in strict religious homes. Some had fathers who said, real men don't need things like that. Others may live with illness, diabetes, joint pain, shaky hands, and start to believe they're no longer capable of much at all. And slowly, they retreat from their own body. Like a homeowner quietly moving out of a house that's aging, leaving it to gather dust, grow cold, and quietly fall apart. But here's the truth I want you to know. When you stop feeling, blood flows more slowly. Your nerves weaken, your memory fades, and your emotions stiffen. Not because you're old, but because you're living in a body you no longer believe has worth. You don't have to break down every barrier all at once. You just have to place your hand on your skin kindly and quietly say, I still deserve to live fully. Healing touch. A simple act that can awaken both body and spirit. Today, I'm not here to teach you how to touch yourself for pleasure. I'm here to invite you to rediscover an old, often forgotten art. The art of healing touch. Healing touch doesn't have to lead to pleasure. It has no goal. It's simply a gentle, patient act of kindness. A way to honor the body that has carried you through decades of life. You can begin with your hands. Massage each finger joint and gently roll your wrists. Place your hand over your chest, where your heart has never stopped beating. You might softly stroke your calves, rub your shoulders, or rest your hand on your belly as you breathe deeply. Healing touch isn't a technique. It's a way of saying thank you to the parts of you that have endured so much, often without care or acknowledgement. When you touch, when you feel, when you breathe with your own body, you are sending a message. This body still matters. I still want to live in it and live fully. That's when the healing hormones begin to flow. That's when your nervous system starts to relax. And most importantly, that's when you stop treating yourself like someone who's simply aging and start treating yourself like someone who still deserves to thrive. 5 gentle steps to reconnect with your body. Not for sexuality, but for life. You don't need much, just 10 to 15 minutes a day. And these 5 simple steps can gently awaken your body, without pressure, without any goal, only care. Step 1. Create a safe space. Choose a private, quiet place. It could be your bedroom, a quiet corner of the house, or even during a warm shower. What matters most is that you're not rushed, and you're free from judgment. Step 2. Breathe to connect. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 2, exhale slowly for 6 seconds. Repeat this for 5 rounds. Each breath is a gentle reminder that you are here, you are alive, and you are worthy of attention. Step 3. Gentle touch on neutral areas. You don't need to touch intimate areas. Begin with your palms, your neck, shoulders, or calves. Use your fingertips or a bit of warm oil. Touch not to feel something, but to say, "This is me. This is a part of me that still exists." Step 4. Notice the feelings. As you touch, notice what comes up. Is there a moment of awkwardness? A small sense of peace? Do old thoughts or voices rise in your mind? Observe them, but don't judge. You're simply learning how to be with yourself again. Step 5. End with gratitude. Place your hand over your heart and whisper to yourself, "Thank you, body. We're still here, together." Or write a short line in a journal. "Today, I felt," that's all. And with just that, you've reconnected with a part of you that may have been forgotten, but never lost. When touch becomes a ritual, returning to yourself one day at a time. When you begin to see reconnecting with your body not as a chore, not as an exercise, but as a daily ritual for living, you no longer feel awkward or hesitant. You begin to feel at home. Choose a time that feels right. In the morning, while your body is still soft from sleep, or at night, to soothe your nerves before rest. The most important part? A time when you won't be interrupted and no one is waiting for you. A space with intention. Light a candle, play soft music. Look at yourself in the mirror, as if you're preparing to greet an old friend. That friend is you. Discover the places that feel right to you. No 2 people are the same. Some feel comforted touching their forehead. Others find peace in their wrists or shoulders. Explore your body, like you're tracing an old map you forgot you had. Focus on the experience, not the outcome. You don't need to feel something. There's no peak to reach, no task to complete. Just be present, second by second, and let your body tell you what it needs once you truly begin to listen. When this becomes a natural part of your day, like brushing your teeth, eating breakfast, or sipping your tea, then aging no longer feels like a slow surrender. It becomes a sacred journey, a return to yourself, but this time, deeper than ever before. Self-pleasure isn't about sex. It's about staying fully alive. We were taught the wrong thing. That self-pleasure, touching ourselves, exploring, nurturing comfort and connection, is something only for the young or something shameful we must hide. But the truth is, self-pleasure is a survival instinct. It's as vital as eating, breathing, or being hugged when we're feeling down. You don't have to think of it as something sexual. Think of it as a natural dose of healing hormones, reducing inflammation, easing pain, improving sleep, supporting memory, and yes, restoring joy. Just like a simple, healthy meal isn't meant to be a grand feast, nurturing your connection to your body doesn't need to be perfect or intense. It just needs to be real, present, meaningful. Self-pleasure doesn't make you odd. It makes you feel alive. And if someone once told you that, after a certain age, you should stop all that, then kindly return that idea to them and keep walking toward the light of full living, where you still feel, still love, and still belong completely to yourself. When your body begins to respond, changes you may feel in just 1 to 2 months. If you practice regularly, even just a few times a week, you'll start to notice gentle but real changes. You don't need to do it perfectly. You don't need to feel something special. Just stay with it. Your body will speak for itself. After 2 weeks, you may sleep more deeply. Sleep arrives like a soft blanket, gently covering a spirit that's been weary for too long. After 1 month, your mood lifts. Smiles come easier. And on some mornings, you'll open your eyes and quietly think, "Today, I want to get up." After 6 weeks, your memory starts to feel clearer. A name, a story, an old song, suddenly resurfacing like it was waiting all along in a forgotten drawer, and your body responds too. Your joints feel less stiff. Your belly feels warmer. Your hands and feet aren't as cold. Blood flows more freely. Not because of a pill, but because of connection, from the aliveness you're bringing back from within. And most of all, you no longer feel like you're just waiting out your days. You begin to feel like you are truly living again. Touch yourself, not for pleasure, but to feel alive again. If there's one message I hope you carry from this video, it's this. Your body has never abandoned you. Please, don't abandon it. You don't need to do anything grand. No advanced technique, no intense emotion. Just one gentle touch, a slow stroke across your hand, a palm placed softly over your heart as you breathe. One honest moment with yourself. And if you start today, whether you're 60, 70, or 85, there is still so much life left to bloom. You don't need to wait for someone else to touch you to feel you exist. You only need you. You and one small decision. To live the rest of your days with full awareness and full presence. If this touched something in you, share it with someone you care about. Or send it to yourself as a reminder that you once chose to come alive again. With just one touch. And if you'd like to keep walking this path with me, click subscribe. Not because I want you to live longer, but because I want you to live deeper. You deserve that. And so does your body.